Hey, good afternoon, YouTube, family and friends. This is Mike Sneed coming to you live from the ASCII 2020. We give YouTube a few minutes to go out and send out the notifications, let everybody know that we're live. Right now, I got a special guest with us today. A lot of y'all always asking me about how you actually can actually do appliance repair in a major city like New York City, Chicago, and I tell y'all it's a little different when you actually running appliance repair in a major city. When we're down south, we can actually market directly to homeowners. But in New York City, I think you all have to go directly to maybe superintendents and whatnot. So this right here is the actual master of how you actually run appliance repair business in New York City. Y'all might have heard me talk about y'all the appliance doctor. Well, here he is right here live in the flesh. And I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and he's gonna come in. He's gonna answer some questions and kind of tell us how you actually market and run a business in a place like New York City.
Well, how you doing? I'm Anthony Atanasio from the Appliance Doctor, and we'll be celebrating our 40th year in business. Started when I was 22. I'm now 62.
Wow.
So March 1st, we're 40 years in business. And New York City is a whole different animal from most parts of the country. And I'm sure a lot of big cities are like that, but New York City is really different. Dealing with tickets, dealing with traffic, dealing with less calls per day. But it's a great business, and we're high-end appliances, so we're in a lot of these fancy buildings down in Manhattan, and got to know a lot of the superintendents, and now they're really called resident managers.
No more supers.
No more supers. You know, when every apartment in that building is worth a million and plus, you're not called a super no more. You're a resident manager. So we service over 250 resident managers per year, you know, and we do it all through marketing.
Now, do you still market directly to the residence managers now, or
Yes.
yeah?
We of course we market to the resident managers. We join resident manager clubs
Or they have
because
clubs?
they have clubs
Oh,
there.
okay.
So there's like five different clubs, and we're joined in three of them. So we get to know people that way, one on one, and build up our business that way. And we send out a monthly newsletter to all 20 to about 2,400 superintendents, resident managers throughout the city. And that newsletter allows you to really tell your story and and show them what companies you're authorized for, and it gets you in the door. And once you're in the door, and especially in Manhattan because of 9/11, you know, the supers really run the buildings. So you have to get the okay to even do work in their buildings. So if you can get in good with them, then you can get their business and take care of their tenants. And most tenants in Manhattan, they have high end. They have the Mealy, they have the Sub Zeros, they have the Bosches, you know, the Thermadors, the Vikings, the Decors, the Ascos, you know, all the appliances
Okay.
they have.
All right. Now with that, do they act? Who pays you? Do the superintendent pays you, or do the actual homeowner customer, the customer homeowner
Well,
pays you?
mostly the referrals we get are individual homeowners who, because most of these buildings are co-ops and condos.
Okay.
So they own their own appliances, but the super refers us.
Okay. So he's the introduction to the
Yes,
homeowner. Okay.
yes.
Okay. Now, do these down south? We have a lot of what we call third-party warranty companies like American Home
Right,
Shields and stuff.
right.
Do they have those in the in the condos and?
Well, they have them in Manhattan. I choose not to do work for any third parties.
Okay.
I just don't like the time it takes to get an approval.
On the back end, yeah,
You
yes,
know, when
yeah.
you're in the customer's house and you're spending an hour trying to get approval when you could finish that job
Mm-hmm.
in 20 minutes. You would have been in and out. If it was a COD call,
Uh-huh.
I just don't see first, they're not paying you what you would get for a COD,
Right.
and second, you're waiting for an approval for over an hour, for an hour on the
Mm-hmm.
phone. Your tech is being held up.
Okay. All right. So you do mainly COD.
We do mainly
Okay,
CODs.
that's
We
good.
do about um, 25 different managements,
Okay.
which covers about 200 apartment buildings.
Wow.
So we do, but most of them are high end now.
High end. Okay.
We got rid of all the low end appliances, the low end buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in 2016, I gave up 250 apartment houses
Wow.
just because the landlords were taking too long to pay,
Mm-hmm.
and we were doing calls at a discounted rate,
Mm-hmm.
which I just figured it out that I could do CODs and do double the amount of work
Okay.
and get double the amount of pay, I should say.
Okay. Two more questions, and then we'll go to the chat, and I won't hold you up any longer. The next question is, uh, you say you've been in business 40 years. How many technicians do you have?
We have 10 full time
Mm-hmm.
and 6 independents.
Okay.
So our full times work, they get, if they're in the city, they're doing 7 calls a day. If they're in the outer city, like Westchester County, they're doing eight calls a day. Our independents are, we get called, our independents, and they could do 2, 3 calls a day for me because they either work for another company or work for themselves.
Okay. They like
And
to sub.
so,
You subbing them out.
yeah,
Okay.
we're able to satisfy our consumers by having independents also,
Okay.
for the overflow.
All right. That's good. Now, where are you based out of? Manhattan or?
Well, we're right outside of Manhattan in a town called
You
Yonkers,
good? Come on.
New York,
Okay.
and which takes us. Normally, it would have take us 15 minutes to get into Manhattan, but the way traffic is, it's probably more like a half hour to 40 minutes to get into Manhattan.
Okay.
But we're right on the outskirts.
Okay. And last question: how in the world do you handle parking with doing service calls and tickets?
Well, all our trucks are commercial vehicles.
Hmm.
We double park. They're not supposed to give you a ticket, but if they give you a ticket, we have a firm that fights every ticket we get, and they have an agreement with the city. Uh, where it depends where if it's a double park ticket, it goes down to 0.
Hmm.
They get all the double parking tickets. If it's parking in let's say in a meter and the meter runs out and your guy's up there, it may be half price. So everything's negotiable through this company.
So you have to pay a company to actually handle all your tickets.
Right, because it takes a lot of time from our office when we used to write and fight tickets ourselves. This way, it's definitely easier,
Okay. All right. There you go.
cost effective. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to answer a couple of questions in the actual chat, and then we're going to let the appliance doctor get back to actually enjoying the ad. All right, 89 Dr. Funk. What's up, Mike? Hey, how you doing? All right, good morning. Just teach. Okay. Here we're gonna have. I'm gonna take my glasses off. I see better close up without my glasses. All right. 89 Dr. Funk. The New York City has to parking has to be tough. Yeah, he just said, but because he's commercial, and he has a firm that actually handles it. He figured out a way to actually kind of limit his exposure. All right, Greg B, how you doing? I don't know about that, Just Teach. Everywhere is a little bit, can have those same issues. But it seems like in New York you can make a lot of money out there. They want to know, do you mean New York City or New York State being overrated? Some people, I think he was talking about somebody in the chat. They talking about Allen or Manhattan.
We talked about Manhattan,
Okay,
Bronx,
okay.
and Westchester County we service.
All right. All right. Somebody want to know, appliance doctor, do you do contract deals with the buildings?
I do landlord work. I don't do actual contracts. We get called as a call comes in, but as a problem arises. But no, I don't have contracts. where I charge them a certain amount per appliance
Okay.
for the year. No, I
Uh,
don't do. I don't get involved in that.
all right. Somebody want to know, since you're doing high-end appliances, do you do seal system repairs?
Yes,
Okay, they do seal system.
we have three techs that could do sealed systems.
Okay. All right. All right. Somebody want to know, is there a special license needed to get started in New York City or Westchester?
Well, in New York City, you just have to be licensed with the Consumer Affairs, and that's like paying 500 a year
Mm-hmm.
to do allow you to do work.
Okay.
It doesn't really need a license, but you do have to have the Consumer Fair license, which is very simple to get.
That's like a business license in New York?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Somebody says, I'm in Harlem. What tips would you have to getting started in Harlem and South Bronx?
Well, you know what? If you're just getting started, I would definitely take all the work I can get, and that's what I did for many years. I took buildings all over New York and the Bronx, Washington Heights, uh, South Bronx. You know, we did some management firms that had 20, 30, 40 buildings in the toughest areas of New York. And we did them. We did them because it's also good. It's a good. You don't get paid well, and you don't get paid right away. Maybe 3 months, but it's also good for technicians that are starting out
Mm-hmm.
to get their experience on, some of the cheaper appliances because
Okay.
it's very hard to learn. Just go right into high end.
Right. Okay. All right. Somebody want to Untamed Kango. Is the work hours longer in the city given the constant traffic, 10 to 12 hours?
Well, we do. Like I said, we do 7 calls in the city and 8 in the other areas. So our guys are doing less work, and it does take them, 45 minutes to an hour to get home. So yeah, the day is longer because of the traveling. Yeah, from call to call, and then going into the city and coming out of the city.
About how many stops y'all do, your text do?
We do 7 in the city,
Seven. Okay.
7 in Manhattan.
Okay. All right. Somebody want to know, two people want to know advice you would give to new people starting out in the appliance repair business.
I would say probably about 20 years ago, I would never steer my kids into this business, but the way with the high-end appliances and even some of the whirlpools and the Frigidairs are $1,000, so $1,500 a refrigerator. So I would say this is a great business to get into,
Okay.
and they always need good techs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would recommend this business, and my kids are in the business.
I was just gonna say your daughter is now taking over.
My
That's
daughter
good.
is sort of taking over,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that's good. All right, so uppercase G. So hello, Mike ABC family. Thank you, Appliance Doctor, for sharing your insight. Okay. Somebody want to know if they how do I partner up with you and meet you to get mentorship if you're open. I'm just starting. He has a YouTube channel. What's your YouTube channel?
Uh, Dr. X313.
Yeah, you can catch him there for his videos and stuff. I don't know right now if he wants to give
Where,
out.
where, where is he from?
Where are you from, Thomas CJ? Where are you from? So maybe he'll give out an email or something like that for somebody who wants to contact him later. Um, Aquifer, want to know what percentage of your work is sealed system?
What percentage of our work is a sealed system?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say 25% of the work is our
Okay,
sealed system
there you go.
technicians.
All right, we're gonna go for one more minute. I'm gonna try to keep this thing less than 15 minutes. Be respectful of people's time, so I'm gonna go through a couple of them. When will the industry start closing doors? That I don't know. What they're talking about that. A lot of people now are starting to say they want the appliance repair to be like HVAC and electrical, and start requiring the licenses and stuff. I don't know when that's gonna happen.
But a lot of things too is that, you know, on that subject is that like companies like Home Advisor, they're trying to take work away
Yeah.
from the independents.
Yeah.
And although that you could do work for them, it's just never works out with Home Advisor. So you got to watch out for it. And also third-party companies, you got to watch out for it.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Somebody want to know how much do you mark up your percentage doing Blue Book in New York City? Because you're in the New York City area. Do you use Blue Book or you have you
We
probably
get
have
a
your own, right?
we get $159 service call.
Wow, $159 service. Wow.
We
Everybody
get
hear that in New York
we get $250 labor.
per hour?
No,
Just
just for the job.
that's on top of the 150 service charge.
Right.
So every
And
time you go to somebody's house, it's 150 service charge plus
and
$250
then we
labor.
mark up the price about 30% of the parts. So we could,
Wow.
yeah. So we could do let's say a pump in a Miele or Bosch, let's say a Bosch, 500,000. You know, listen. The one thing that I want to say is
Okay.
that at the beginning you may have to get a name for yourself, but you're not working as hard to give things away. You know, once you get to a certain point, you got the knowledge to do the repairs, and you can go in and look at something, and right off the bat, you know what it is because you've been on it before. Don't let people tell you, oh, you only spent 20 minutes fixing it,
Right.
because you got the knowledge, and you get paid for your knowledge, and that's why we do flat rate. We don't do time, uh, you know, how much time we're spending at a house. We tell them right off the bat, this you need a pump and it's going to cost you $495 plus tax. You want us to go ahead and do it, and that's how we do it, flat rate.
Okay, so that answered a lot of questions about me because I'm looking at Blue Book prices. Now saying I don't know how they make it in New York, but that answers a lot of questions. Hey, how you doing? All right, thanks. So there you go. So what I'm gonna do here?
Well, the blue book is a good product,
Yes.
and you can also they have an online one too that you could change the prices. So just change the prices so you can make money. But if you're starting out, I understand you want to get the jobs, get the cash flow, and so you may have to charge cheaper. But once you have a reputation, you can basically go in and especially high end, and this is why it became authorized for a lot of high end, is because, excuse me,
No
is
problem.
because they're gonna fix it. They're gonna fix a $5,000 stove, even if it's $700 to fix. So
There you go. All right. So right now we're over our little 15-minute time frame. I'm trying to keep the interviews too to be respectful of people time. I think we had about 40 some people at one time in the chat. Right now we got 39. Go over to Appliance Doctor channel and actually subscribe and check him out. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And like I say, throughout this whole week while I'm here at ASTI, I'm gonna bring y'all nice interviews like this. Where actually these are the industry leaders. I was telling him I've seen him at many of the ASTIs. I've seen him at the PSA's conference and stuff. I've been to some of the classes he's done in his doctor uniform and his little doctor telescope and all the stethoscope and stuff. And I was telling him how much I appreciate what he's done for our industry. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. This is Mike Sneak with Appliance Bootcamp. I'll talk to you later.
all right.